No, that's purple.
Good morning, Durham College, and welcome once again to Dungeon Anthology on riotradio.ca. For those of you new here, you might be asking yourself, what is Dungeon Anthology? Well, Dungeon Anthology is an episodic series of short stories written and voice acted out here by us in the Media Hub. Episodes usually take place in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Today's episode, A Story of Treasure and Snow, which was written by Tanner Smith, is set in the cold, frozen tundra of Icewind Dale. Now, how about we get to introducing our cast and their characters you'll be seeing in this episode.
Hey there, and good morning. I'm Tanner Smith, and I'll be playing the role of the narrator for this episode.
And I'm Katie Gerard, host of DC Unseen, which you can listen here on Riot Radio on Thursdays at 11 a.m. And thanks for having me once again, guys. And today I'll be playing Rose Wildeberry. Rose is a human druid joining Amber and finding the treasure and hiding in a landlocked pirate ship rumored to be somewhere in Icewind Dale.
Hi, I'm Alec Drew. I'll be playing Amber Firestar. Amber is a dragonborn sorcerer, and a self-proclaimed treasure hunter. Her ultimate goal is to find and uncover ancient magical items which she believes Icewind Dale is full of, and this pirate ship seems to be looking like a good place to start.
In case you forgot, I'm Nathan Arsenault, and I'll be playing the role of Cliff Bridges today. Cliff is an eldritch knight human. Cliff has learned to master the skills of both magic and the blade. After escaping an underground temple with his companion, Goliath, Cliff found himself in Icewind Dale somehow. Joining along with Amber and Rose, he's mostly in it for the thrill of the adventure, and maybe to get enough gold to buy his way onto a boat heading out of the cold region.
Now that we've met our actors for this scene, let me take you all to Icewind Dale. From the journal of Captain Rudolph Bluemoon. I don't know how long my ship has been trapped in the ice, nor how long my ship will continue to be trapped. The snow outside falls from darkened clouds and is carried by raging winds, too dense to see through and so cold that limbs numb in mere seconds, and fingers turn black with frostbite in a matter of minutes. Some of my crew have decided to brave the cold in search of help, but we are not equipped for such weather, and I fear they may not be coming back. The others that remained here with me grow restless, and I can see the hunger in their eyes, the way they look at each other and lick their chapped lips, the way they look at me. We are a desperate crew, a hungry crew. I don't know how much longer we can last in these conditions, and as our rations continue to thin and warmth begins to evade us. If this storm does not ease up soon, I fear my ship, the Dark Duchess, may never sail again.
If this storm does not ease up soon, I fear my ship, the Dark Duchess, may never sail again.
Wow, that's
exciting!
I was going to say dreadful, or depressing, or dreary. What do you say we'll find on this journal?
Some dwarf was selling in the marketplace the last night, but that's not important.
Then what is important about?
The name of the ship, the Dark Duchess. Don't you know what that is?
No, should I?
Yeah, it's the only one of the notorious pirate ships to ever sail the oceans. They say if it disappeared mysteriously one night in an awful storm, and this dark journal is authentic, that the Dark Duchess is talking about the same ship again.
Ghost pirates?
Maybe, but lots of treasure. Disappointed with the gold, silver, magic relics with a history, one like the Dark Duchess. Who knows what could be hiding?
As Amber and Rose spoke about the Dark Duchess and treasure, they didn't notice when a mysterious third party, intrigued with what they were talking about, pulled up a chair and sat down at their table.
Treasure and ghost pirates, eh? What's a guy gotta do to get himself in on this?
Possible ghost pirates?
Wait a second, Amber. We don't know who this guy is. eavesdropping on our conversation.
Ah, my apologies. The name's Cliff Bridges. I'm an adventurer like you. I was sitting over at the bar when I heard something about lots of gold coming from this table, and that piqued my interest.
Why?
To be completely honest with you, I've been broke ever since I came to Icewind Dale, and I need the money to buy my way on a boat going south, or to hire a guide to help me navigate through the spine of the world and make my way back to Waterdeep.
Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but...
We'll be happy to have you join us.
What? Amber? Why would we just let some stranger join us? We can't trust him.
Of course we can trust him. I casted Zone of Truth the moment he sat down with us.
Wait, I don't know you knew the zone of it.
It's settled then. We group up, we find this pirate ship, fight some ghosts, and split the treasure.
Yes!
Don't make me regret this, either of you.
Now, with this new party formed, the three headed out of the tavern and into the streets of Targos, one of the 10 towns of Icewind Dale.
Oh, by the way, I don't think I got your names. I mean, I know your name is Amber, but what about you?
Rose Wildeberry.
Wildberry, huh? Neat name.
No, not Wildberry. Wildeberry, with a Y.
What do you mean? We said it exactly the same. Wildberry.
Wildeberry.
Wildberry.
No, Wilburied, with a Y. You're saying it right.
So how are we getting there anyway? Where do we even start to look for a pirate ship? Icewind Dale is a pretty big place.
Well, it's a ship, right? I'd say the best place to start looking is near the sea of moving ice.
Oh, yeah, that's a great place to start.
Okay, that's like 3 days of travel from 10 towns on foot. How are we supposed to get there?
It's only a day's travel on sled dogs. We can get a few of those and get to the sea of moving ice by nightfall.
All right, we'll buy some sled dogs. Then what? Just go to sea on moving ice?
Yep.
Do you know where the sea is moving ice is? What if we just get lost on the way?
Yes, I do. It's north, and we won't get lost because all we have to do is go north. You worry too much.
Oh, the sled dog thing. We have no gold.
What?
We have no gold.
I heard you the first time. I meant, what do you mean we have no gold?
So you know how we spent 30 gold pieces last night?
Yes.
Well, the dwarf that sold me the journal offered me for exactly 30 gold. After asking me exactly how much gold I had.
You gave all the gold away we had to some shady little dwarf with a stupid book.
Yep.
And only now do you decide to mention that it's at cost? What cost all that we had?
I think now we should be the best time to say that the dwarf also said no refunds.
Great. This whole job is through. Then, because I'm not spending 3 days walking the frozen wasteland with a complete stranger, might I add, to find some treasure that we can't even haul back because we have no sled.
Hey, relax, Rose. I can get us the sled dogs we need. You stop worrying. Go with the flow a little.
All right. How do you figure we're going to do that? You said in the tavern you didn't have any money.
Like I said, you worry too much. Just meet me by the west edge of town tonight. I'll have the sled dogs by then, and if we get moving immediately, we should be able to make it to the edge of the sea of moving ice by morning.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan.
Fine, we'll be there, but don't make us wait.
Don't worry, I'll try not to.
Parting ways for now, Amber and Rose headed back to the tavern to decode the rest of the journal, and perhaps see if there was anything they had to prepare for waiting for them at the fabled Dark Duchess. Meanwhile, Cliff had made his way across the town in search of some sled dogs to help get them to the Sea of Moving Ice. In a few short hours, evening begins to fall on Icewind Dale, and as the sun sets and the sky darkens, we find Rose and Amber standing at the west edge of the village of Targos, waiting for their new companion, Cliff.
Wow, clear skies out tonight. Too bad there's no Aurora Borealis to check out. Hey, Rose, what's the weather supposed to be for the rest of the night?
Let me check.
Using the Druid Expel Druidcraft, a small snow globe appeared in one of Rose's hands. Inside the globe, it depicted a tiny replica of the town they were in, and a clear night sky with lightly falling flakes of snow. The snow globe begins to fade.
It doesn't look like it's going to be that bad. Just a little snowfall. Where is that Cliff guy? We're right where he said we'd meet him.
Just then, they heard the sound of barking dogs and snow crunching under the weight of several feet rushing in the direction as Cliff appeared with a pack of huskies hauling 2 sleds behind him and a group of people making chase with swords and torches.
Go, 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 go! Hey, you two, hop on!
Is that the town, Mata? Why do you have to after you?
I'll explain later. Just hop on.
I like this guy. We should make him a permanent addition to our treasure hunting crew.
I disagree.
Hopping on the sled with Cliff, the 3 of them quickly rode out of the village of Targos and into the tundra. The lights of the town and noises of the ensuing town militia quickly faded behind them.
I got the dogs and a bonus second sled for all the loot.
Right, and how exactly did you get those sleds and dogs?
It's a long story that involves a tabaxi, a little bit of arson, and some really bad stealth.
You stole them?
Yep.
We should definitely keep him around. He would be a perfectly chaotic addition to the group.
You're chaotic enough as it is, Amber.
As the group continued on their way across Icewind Dale, making their way to the Sea of Moving Ice, and on their way to find the Dark Duchess and the treasure it holds. Another story, meanwhile, was unfolding just across the tundra. And with that, we'll be taking a short musical interlude as we swap out and introduce our actors for Scene 2. And we're back. Now, let's get to meeting the cast for this scene and introduce the characters they'll be playing, starting with...
Hi everyone, I'm Bryn Baker, and today I'll be playing Spruce Carrington. We've seen Spruce in a previous episode, but for those who don't know, Spruce is a half-elf who came from a violent and mysterious upbringing. She took an oath and became a paladin to redeem herself from her past, and now travels the land to help those in need. On her travels to Icewind Dale with her companion Enderbite, Spruce heard rumors of a dangerous criminal who recently escaped from Revel's End, a prison in the tundra.
I'm Zaid Cathcart, and today I'll be playing Enderbite. Enderbite, for those who don't know, is a drow rogue and a mercenary whose morals are dictated often by the coin you pay him. Although spending time adventuring with Spruce may have caused him to soften up a little bit.
Hey, I'm Trey Hebert. Happy to be back. Today I'll be playing the role of Ranagar Thunder Egg. Ranagar is a drow wizard who's recently escaped from the prison Revel's End, fleeing through the wastelands of Icewind Dale with a bounty on his head and some mercenaries trying to track him down.
And in case you don't remember who I am for some reason, I'm Nathan Arsenault. I'll be briefly in this scene playing a Revel's End guard who will be seeing Spruce and Enderbite off into the tundra.
Now, without wasting any more time, let's get back into it. Near the Sea of Moving Ice, and far, far north of 10 Towns, stands the Tower of Revel's End, A prison designed to lock up the worst, most powerful, and most dangerous criminals the Sword Coast has ever seen. From monsters that threaten villages and towns to dangerous red wizards and assassins that want nothing more than to see the world bend to their will, or burn. Only the worst of the worst is locked up in Revel's End. That is where this story begins. While Amber, Rose, and Cliff form together in 10 towns all the way across the tundra, here, just outside of Revel's End, Spruce and Enderbite have just accepted a job to help track down Ranagar Thunderegg, a dangerous magic-wielding drow who recently escaped the prison.
All right, you got your sled dogs, your sleds, enough rations to hopefully last you a month, a map of the region, and a picture of what the guy looks like. Is there anything else you need?
Nope, we should be all good.
Enderbite opens the parchment with the paper of the escaped convict, looking it over.
Wow, that is one ugly mug.
Do not worry, Sir Guard.
Philip. My name is Philip.
Well, Philip, I swear to you on my soul that we will do our utmost to track this dangerous criminal down and bring him back to you.
Dead or alive.
Very well then. His last known location after he fled the prison was west. But be careful while you go. There's a dragon that calls the area west of here its home. We don't exactly know where the den is, but we know it's somewhere that way.
We will be sure to be cautious of this dragon.
One more thing before you go.
Yes?
There's a rock that's recently been seen around the area as well.
Okay, what's so scary about some rocks? I've seen plenty of those in the Underdark.
No, not some rocks, Dark Elf. A rock. A large, ferocious bird. One that's said to rival the size and strength of dragons. It's said the very flap of its wings emulates the sound of an oncoming storm, and once you're caught in its predatory gaze, it could swoop down on you with blinding speed and carry you off in an instant.
Huh, sounds terrifying. We don't got any birds like that in the Underdark. I bet if this rock thing is real, it must get into scraps with the dragon often.
Possibly. It's said to live on the island of Solstice, across the Sea of Moving Ice.
You mean that island all the way over there?
The three look out to the Sea of Moving Ice. They see off in the distance an island in the shape of a snowflake. Having the best eyes out of the three, Enderbite could make out on the island a structure in the shape of a large frozen skull, sitting right in the center.
Ominous.
Luckily, if that rock does show up, we should be able to hear it coming, assuming the stories of its thunderous wings are true.
You should be able to see it, too. We got report that it's supposed to be a pretty clear night tonight.
Speaking of, we're burning daylight. We should get a move on if we want to catch this Ranagar guy.
Right, let's go.
With a nod, the two hopped on a sled respectively and hurried west, following the last known location of Ranagar Thunderegg. As they journeyed, hours passed by with no sign of him, and the sun had begun to set. Until suddenly...
Spruce, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Fireball! Ah!
That.
No, I don't think so.
Get back! Take this!
You don't hear that?
No? Are you suffering some sort of auditory hallucination? Did you eat those weird berries we found
I will not fall to you monsters, for I am Ranagar Thunderegg!
Oh, yeah, I think I heard that. Seems to be coming from the south.
I told you there was a noise. You really need to get your ears checked, Spruce.
The two dashed towards the sound of the fighting and found a drow man matching the picture they were given in the heat of battle with these frozen-looking corpses. The drow, Ranagar's hands, smoking from the spell that he had just cast.
Sir Thunderegg, I am Spruce Carrington, paladin and member of the Order of the Silver Gauntlet. This is my companion Enderbite. We are here to...
Hey, Spruce, can you save the whole speech for later? We have bigger problems right now.
Suddenly, a few of the frozen corpses turned their attention to the arriving pair and began charging at them with supernatural speed. One of them slammed into Spruce's shield just as she produced it. The other tried to slash at Enderbite, but he dodged out of the way, pulling his dagger from his sheath to slash at the zombie.
Great, now I have to deal with you two righteous buffoons on top of these undead.
One of the zombies slashed at Ranagar, barely missing him as he stepped out of the way, casting a gust spell to knock it towards Spruce and Enderbite.
I don't have time for this.
Suddenly, while Enderbite and Spruce were fighting the zombies, Ranagar clasped his hands together, a flame sparking between them as he began chanting the words of a spell.
Spruce, I think he's getting ready to chant something.
Can you stop him before he casts it?
I can try.
Shoving a zombie out of the way, Enderbite dashed forward, dagger in hand, towards Ranagar. As he did, though, he was stopped suddenly, as from the snow, the cold hand of another undead grabbed his ankle, rising out of the ground to bite him.
Whoa. Take this, you fools! My wall of fire!
Everyone in the fray, Spruce, Enderbite, and the zombies were suddenly engulfed in this wall of flame that was pushed towards them. Taking the opportunity, Ranagar dashed off.
Spruce, are you alright?
Yes, Enderbite. The fire caught me off guard, but I have the light of the Morning Lord on my side and the magic to heal myself.
Well, ain't that something? I might have to look into this holier-than-thou paladin magic myself. At least that blast took care of the zombies.
Whoa.
Or maybe not.
I shall fight this undead. You go after the criminal.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
But...
The more time you argue with me, the more time he has taking to get away. Go, Enderbite, while I hold off the undead. You go and deliver righteous justice. I promise I will catch up with you.
With a nod and a determined look on his face, Enderbite turned and began sprinting in the direction he saw Ranagar running off in. Whistling for his sled dogs, they rushed up to him, and hopping onto the sled, he made chase after the evil wizard.
Good luck, Enderbite. May the Morning Lord's light guide your way. Now, you undead foes, with the power of light on my side, I shall strike you all down with righteous fury. Ha!
I knew I should have written down that summon steed spell. Oh.
Stopping for a moment to catch his breath was the perfect opportunity Enderbite needed. As the sled approached the wizard, Enderbite leapt from it and tackled Ranagar, the two drows tumbling into the snow.
Hey, get off me!
No.
You leave me no choice then. Die!
Ranagar clapped his hands together, then placed them on Enderbite's chest, pushing him off with a thunder wave, Enderbite flying back into a mound of snow.
Fighting dirty, I see.
As a drow does.
Suddenly, and with quick speed, Enderbite produced a hand crossbow, firing at the other drow.
No fair!
Just before the bolt could hit Ranagar, he moved his hands in a strange arcane gesture, blocking the hit with a magical shield that then immediately dissipated. Enderbite, though, was already on top of him, slashing a dagger across his chest.
I can fight dirty too.
Oh yeah? Well, how about this?
Reaching his hand out, snow from the ground began forming beside Ranagar, transforming suddenly into a perfect copy of him.
You wizards always got some annoying trick up your sleeve.
What can I say? Double your wizards, double your fun. Now take this!
Both copies of the Dark Wizard put their hands together and cast a gust spell, knocking Enderbite off his feet and back into the snowbank, knocking him out.
This was a fun little scuffle, but I have plans and unfortunately they don't involve you. Goodbye, rogue.
When Enderbite came to, the sun had fully set and the sky above him was an inky black, dotted with the white of distant stars. One of the sled dogs was licking his face. When he looked around, he found that Ranagar Thunderegg was gone, but left in his stead were two sets of tracks, one leading south, the other continuing west.
Great. Alright, let's see. Southwest. Southwest? Okay, heads go south, tails go west.
Producing a coin from his bag, Enderbite flipped it. It landed tails.
West it is.
Whistling, the sled dogs ran over as he hopped on his sled, following the tracks, hopefully to the real Ranagar Thunderegg. With Spruce's fate fighting the undead left to the unknown, and Enderbite chasing after what he hopes to be the real Dark Wizard Ranagar Thunderegg, that is where the second act of our story ends. When we return, we shall see the third act of this story play out, as fate brings together the band of treasure hunters and the mercenary drow Enderbite together to find what may await them at the Dark Duchess. Welcome back. I have my cast with me once again. We are joined by Nathan, Katie, Alec, Zaid, and myself. So, without further ado, let's get right back into the action. From the Journal of Captain Rudolph Blue Moon. This is it. Our supply of rations have run out, and yet the storm that has us trapped here still continues in its relentless pace against the walls of my ship. The men that I call my crew have resorted to one of three options. Some have gone mad and decided to run out into the wasteland of snow and ice. Some have fallen sick because of how unprepared we are with the weather. I fear they are on death's door, and some, the ones that remain healthy in body, have gone sick in the head with madness. Their appetite grows more ravenous by the hour, and I have heard talks amongst them of turning to cannibalizing the sick and weak. I have done my best to keep them in check, to remind them that they are not some pack of ravenous wild animals. But I fear my voice has fallen upon deaf ears. I grow tired. I grow hungry. I fear
that I never see the ever again. Yep, that's where it ends. So do you think the crew actually ate each other?
Probably.
I hope not. It's bad enough we might have to deal with the pirate ghosts. I think making them cannibal pirates ghosts would be worse.
They probably ate that Captain Blue Moon guy first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How are you two even listening to me?
So, Amber, what decided to make you a treasure hunter anyways?
Oh, my mother Ember was an archaeologist, and her father Cinder was an archaeologist. I think archaeology is cool, but I didn't want to deal with all the boring rules and contracts. So that makes the colleges. So the museums and the rich nobles come along with archaeology territory. So I just thought treasure hunting was the best option.
I see. Very interesting. You know, my buddy Goliath and I, before coming to Icewind Dale, found this ancient temple with these statues and...
Stop!
What? We were just talking.
No, I mean, stop the sled. Look over there.
Looking in the direction Rose was pointing, the other two were taken aback by what they saw. There, in the distance, sitting just a few feet in the edge of a cliff, was the old rotted wooden ship, half buried in the snow. Its flag, though tattered, had the unmistakable branding of 2 Ds.
Well, I'll be darned.
There it is.
The Dark Duchess. It's real.
Well, let's not just stand here. Come on!
Right. Yeah.
The three hurried on their sled dogs towards the ship. As they got closer and closer to the seafaring vessel, they didn't notice quick enough to react in time, as their sled nearly crashed into another person. Standing at the base of the ship was a drow who, luckily, was able to dodge out of the way just before the sled collided with him.
Hey, watch it, pal. You drive your sled like you've never mushed a team of sled dogs before.
The drow quickly drew his crossbow.
Joke's on you, pal. I haven't mushed a team of sled dogs before now.
What? What do you mean you haven't steered sled dogs before?
What are you all doing here anyway?
Well, I bought this old book off a dwarf, and it turns out it was a journal. So this journal actually belonged to the captain of this old ship, the Dark Duchess. His name was Captain Rudolph Blue Moon. So I thought, Dark Duchess? I know that. That's a pirate ship. And if there's a pirate ship, then there must be treasure on board. So we're a couple of treasure hunters, me and Rose over here. Though, not him. We just met him.
Okay. I get the point. Y'all are treasure hunters.
Yeah, you get it. So are you. Who are you?
Right. Where are my mounties? The name's Enderbite.
Yeah? And what were you doing here, Enderbite?
I was tracking an escaped convict from Revel's End, this wizard. He casted some spell to create a duplicate of himself, and I had to gamble on which version of him was the right one.
And how did that go for you?
I lost the gamble. Found the guy scouting away into this here ship. Got the jump on him and plunged my dagger right into his neck, then he immediately turned into a pile of snow right in front of me. I was about to head on my way back and follow his other tracks south when you all came out of nowhere and nearly smoked me.
South? That's the direction of 10 towns.
Is that so? You better get a move on then.
Yeah, and fast. If a guy is powerful enough to create a simulacrum, who knows what else he's capable of?
Guys, I think we have bigger problems to deal with.
The group heard the sound of mighty wings flapping, as rising from the sea of moving ice was a dragon, with scales as white as snow. It circled the group before landing across from them, practically shaking the ground beneath them. Its eyes slits, staring at them as its nostrils flared. It didn't take words for them to realize this ship was claimed by the dragon, and if they wanted the treasure inside, they would have to fight for it.
A dragon? What do we do about a dragon?
Oh, I could try and talk to it since I'm part dragon and all.
I doubt that will work.
Then there's one thing we can do.
We fight it.
The dragon reared its head back, but Enderbite was first to act as he raised his hand crossbow and shot at the beast, piercing its scaly hide.
Take that, dragon.
It suddenly retaliated, slashing at Enderbite, who was too slow to dodge it, and then swinging its tail at Rose, who, acting fast, used her wild shape ability to transform into a polar bear, catching the tail. As Enderbite recovered and Rose wrestled with one of the dragon's mighty claws, Cliff drew his sword and ran at the dragon, raising his hand to launch bolts of fire at it.
How do you like that? My signature firebolts.
The dragon pushed Rose off of its claw and swung at Cliff, knocking him back.
I got this.
Taking a deep breath, Amber puffed out her chest and exhaled a raging inferno at the dragon. The creature roared and wailed as it reared back, and suddenly took flight. It circled them before sweeping down to unleash its own breath attack, its breath leaving a trail of ice in its wake. Luckily, most of the party was able to dodge it, except for Rose, who was knocked back and out of the bear wild shape.
Aha!
Rose!
I got you.
As Rose was flung back, Enderbite dashed across the ice and caught her, safely putting her back on her feet.
You all right?
Yeah, it's just tough. It's knocked out of my wild shape with a single attack.
What do we do?
Thinking back, Enderbite remembered something about what the guard Philip said to him in Spruce.
A large, ferocious bird, one that's said to rival the size and strength of dragons. It's said the flap of its wings emulates the sound of an oncoming storm.
That's it.
What's it?
We may not be able to defeat that thing, but we might be able to scare it off. Tell me, Druid, do you have a spell in your arsenal that can simulate a thunderstorm?
I have a thunder wave.
Perfect. If you can focus your energy into casting that spell with as much power as you can, perhaps we can scare it off. In the meantime, the others and I will try to distract the dragon.
Right.
Rose stood completely still. Clasping her hands together, she began to speak the spell in her druidic tongue. Meanwhile, the others continued to battle the dragon, keeping it distracted while Rose powered up the spell.
I don't know how much longer we can keep doing this.
Yeah, I'm practically down to catnips over here.
Just another minute at least, fellas. Your friend and I got a plan.
Well, that plan better work, or we're all gonna be fresh meat for that thing.
Suddenly, Rose casted Thunderwave. A loud, thunderous boom erupted from her hands, causing everyone, including the dragon, to freeze. They watched as the dragon looked up to the sky, head moving frantically side to side, before lifting off the ground, beating its mighty wings and disappearing into the clouds. There was a moment of silence as everyone waited with bated breath for the dragon to return. It didn't.
I can't believe that worked.
We did it! We beat the dragon!
Which means whatever treasure is in that ship is ours.
Hey, Drow!
Enderbite.
Bless you. Anyways, you fought the dragon too. I think you've earned yourself some of the treasure in the ship. And if you wanted, a little spot in our treasure hunting crew.
Thank you kindly, but I got a partner of my own waiting for me and a criminal to hunt down.
Oh, right. Well, good luck with that.
With the dragon scared off, Enderbite and the others went their separate ways. Enderbite travels south to 10 towns, while Rose, Amber, and Cliff find their way into the Dark Duchess to search for the treasure held within.
With that, we conclude on this episode of Dungeon Anthology, Season 2, Episode 3, A Story of Treasure and Snow. Thank you to our lovely actors, Bryn, Zaid, Tanner, Trey, Alec, and Katie, for lending their voices. I would also like to thank RightRadio.ca for giving us the platform to make this show possible. Today's episode was written by Tanner Smith, with additional edits provided by myself. As always, you can find us at Dungeon Anthology on all the social medias. Have a good rest of your day.